Oh shit, I think I ate some bad tamales. Hope I don't throw up over there. Anyway, hello and good morning. Welcome to another episode of Crime Pays but Botany Doesn't. Today I was here at the National Butterfly Center in Mission, Texas, and I'm here with a public service announcement for America's seniors, okay? The same way that you gotta worry about your kids getting into all this goofy woke stuff when they go to college, we still have to worry about our beloved grandparents once they retire and they don't got nothing to do and they start watching the right-wing medias and the Fox News, okay? Right-wing media is like a madrasa for your grandparents, okay? And it's caused us to lose so many of our beloved seniors in this day and age, and that's why I was here to report on how the QAnon conspiracy wackos from Florida, which is already a bad sign, maybe they're smoking methamphetamine too, but they came here and they tried to shut the butterfly center down because I think they were worried that the butterflies were helping smuggle illegal migrants and Guatemalan mothers into the country to show up and go to Iowa and take. So I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what was going on, but it was a bad deal, and you got a lot of wackos coming here, and so they had to shut the butterfly center down, which is a shame because they're conserving a lot of rare plants and really cool native animals like the eastern indigo snake on this property. Okay, as you can see behind me, it's all fields. It's all been denuded for the agriculture. Nice, you get this guy to hack. The fucking truckers never hump for you no more. You know, that guy looked like he was miserable. Anyway, let's go inside and see what's going on and what we can do to prevent America's seniors from continuing to be radicalized in such an awful manner by these wacko conspiracy theories. And I don't know what they think they were doing, drinking the blood of Christian children in there or something. I don't know. But you talk to some of those people, you know, that's what happens. You retire, you go online, you just end up playing into Mark Zuckerberg's conflict algorithm and, you know, they end up trying to get engagement for conflict. And next thing you know, you're coming out here trying to protest at the Butterfly Center. So it's just a bad deal all around. Anyway, let's go inside and see what's going on. Look at this. Look, now I was here once before, and I'll be honest, this does look like the kind of place I'd get myself thrown out of. Not on purpose, but just, you know, as a matter of being. But I was here a couple months ago. They didn't have this sign here. They didn't have this. You know, they're going to have to get an electric fence. It does, I mean, I will be honest, so a lot of the QAnon people don't look like they could hop a fence, though. They look rather portly. They might have trouble. But either way, that's what we're dealing with here. Can't we just get America's seniors back into bird watching and gardening clubs and get them off of Facebook or wherever they're picking up all this wacko right-wing stuff? I don't know. Just get them to calm down. Don't you want to spend your golden years relaxing instead of worrying about shit that doesn't really affect you? Okay, anyway, that's enough. Let's go inside. See, already I'm getting the staunch vibes of a grand human smuggling operation. See, look at that. Look at it. They got the water lilies in there. Basal angiosperms, by the way. Tortoise crossing. What does that mean? Huh? Are the tortoises smuggling illegal immigrants and drinking the blood of babies? You never know. Okay? This could be a sign for tortoises crossing the road for the Texas tortoises, Gophorus berlandieri, or it could be some sort of coded message for illegal aliens crossing the border en route to places like Iowa and Minnesota, where they're going to go torture American families. Could be that. God damn, you know, a lot of them mimosoids don't really get the appreciation they deserve, and this is one of them. Okay, Vitriol farnesiana. Look at this bastard. I can smell it from here. Grandiose, a grandiose bastard. GrandiosBastards.com. There are the flowers right there. You can see the leaves are just these tiny bipinnate little leaflets right there. The flowers are incredible. What you're looking at, that's not one flower. That's dozens of flowers. You can see them in there. See those green, are those the petals or the sepals? I think it's just one series. I think those are the petals. 5 fused petals. And then you got all those stamens poking out right there. And there's one style per flower too. All right, and then of course that matures into a little bean pod. Okay, these things, you could smell them from 30 feet away, and they're an important food source for all the insects, which are then an important food source for all the birds and other critters around. There you got from the same subfamily the mesquite, infamous mesquite trees, Prosopis glandulosa. You could see the flowers up there. Same general thing going on. Little rods, little yellow rods consisting of I don't know, 100 to 200 tiny little flowers that look like the flowers on that Vitriol that I just showed you. Now let's take a close look at some of these flowers right here. These prosopis flowers, okay? The honey mesquite, prosopis glandulosa. Look at all the pollen just dumping out of those things. Let's zoom in and see what we got going on right there. God damn, look at a praying mantis. Get out of here. Were you trying to make a cameo? Come on. Okay, anyway, let's look at those flowers. So look at what you got. You got sepals at the base that are only about 1 millimeter long, and then those 5 fused petals fused into a little funnel that are about 3 millimeters long, and you just got all the stamens pouring out of those. And you got easily 100 flowers per spike, like that. And then of course you can make a tea out of those flowers, and these are an important food source for everything from coyotes to birds to humans. Okay, these were an important food source for humans because the mesquite beans are very nutritious. Okay, you can make a lot of stuff out of them. What are you doing? You're supposed to be killing something? What are you doing, you weirdo, huh? Get out of here. You think I don't know that if you were my size you'd eat me? I know how sick you bastards are. What are you doing now? And where'd you even come from? Get off of me. I'm gonna put you on this tree, all right? Okay, let's talk about this plant. Okay, Yucca trichuliana. All right, you can see it looks dangerous as hell. It's certainly not something you want to fall into. So if you got any friends that are alcoholics and you end up putting this in your yard, you're going to want to find a way to keep them away. Always got to worry about the drunks stumbling into stuff, right? They'll both destroy the stuff they stumble into and themselves. But anyway, looking at this plant, okay, beautiful native yucca of the Rio Grande Valley down here in South Texas, you can see how important that massive inflorescences. Look at it. You got easily 300 flowers on each spike. Let's take them off. I mean, you could technically eat these. I don't know if you'd want to, but you know, because the foraging is such a fad right now, I might as well mention it. All right, they might upset your stomach a little bit. I tried it once when I was a kid, just for shits and giggles. Look at those stamens. Okay, hang on. All right, you can get bees pollinating these, but the specialist pollinators are moths. So the moths come at night, and the pollen grains are actually aggregated into 2 little nodules called pollinia, just like orchids and milkweeds, although yuccas aren't related to either of those. Well, I guess they're in the same order as orchids. Anyway, the moths come in, they grab those little pollinia, and then they stuff them down into the stigma of another yucca plant and then fly off. So the moths are the specialist pollinators of yuccas here. Look at that. Look at a bulbous anther. 6 bulbous anthers and 6 tepals, because we are talking a monocot. The flower feels pretty fleshy. There's the stigma right there. The ovaries in the center. You got a 3-carpelled ovary. See those 3 seams on it? Okay, 3 distinct units. And then you got that stigma in there where the pollen's going to land. And he's mostly pollinated by moths at night. But you could also get bees in there. Anything, really. You know? Huge source of sugar right there. And look at that. You just got that stack beneath that armament of spines, that the stalk, that massive stem storing all of them carbs and whatnot, because it is technically a succulent. Okay, beautiful bastards when they go off, and of course they're resilient too, very drought tolerant, and like an agave, they just store all their carbs in that massive stem right there, and then you know, so they can flower independent of rainfall. Okay, I mean, it's had to have been a very bad year if the yuccas aren't flowering, at least bad year in terms of moisture. Okay, so here we are. We're with Stephanie Lopez, who's the head nursery person for the nursery right here at the Butterfly Center. Stephanie, what are we doing here? What's going on?
Growing plants, just trying to get some more plants ready for our nectar-loving butterflies, our birds, and bring in some more bees.
Okay, so what do you guys do here? Where do you guys get all your nursery stock from? You growing it from seed or what?
We grow it from seeds. We work on cuttings. We do acquire some that we might not have already. But pretty much everything is our seed source, and we collect from our own gardens to be able to sell them to more people and be able to create more gardens apart from just at the Butterfly Center. Okay, so you want to show us some of the stuff you got? Like, do you guys sell plants to the public, or you just planted these out in the area around here, or what are you doing? So we sell plants to the public. We want to make sure that these gardens are not just here, that our butterflies have homes all over the valley. We're trying to make sure everybody gets all these plants in the ground and ready for our butterfly season.
Okay, so you guys aren't just focusing on stuff that's pretty. You're thinking about how much nectar does this plant produce, you know, how tolerant is it of neglect, say if someone doesn't end up watering, or if it's out in habitat and it hasn't rained for a month or two. So what are the plants that you guys specialize in the most, that you seem to think provide the most nectar for the pollinators and whatnot?
Yeah, so we focus like on our mist flowers. For example, this is our crucita. So our blue mist flower. This is a plant that we also call butterfly crack.
So this is Chromalina odorata. This is the butterfly crack.
Correct. And it's gonna bloom purple, that gorgeous color. It's mainly gonna bloom in the fall. So that's when we get all that big migration of butterflies, and it'll attract up to 45 different species in one plant.
So these are important because these butterflies are moving. They're on a move. I've seen a shit ton of monarchs going through Sonora in West Texas. I think it was November or something, going down to Michoacan. And so this is basically the rest stops, the oasis that they need to make sure they can get down there. That's why it's important to plant these plants out, right?
That's correct, and it's their favorite plants. A lot of people come through and they're like, these are what we find in the monte. It's a weed. Well, this is exactly what those butterflies want. This, your lantana, you know, all these plants that mostly you're pulling out and they're weeds. That's what the butterflies want. That's where the nectar's at.
Yeah, I've seen these things. They're related to stevia. They're Asteraceae, which is, you know, stevia, the same stevia sweetener you find in like a high-end coffee shop. There's the same tribe, the Eupatoriae. And these things, yeah, they're just profuse blooms of, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of purple flowers.
That's right.
Okay, so you guys don't just do native plants. You do plants that are native to the general continent. I mean, basically, we're in Mexico right now. This is the United States, but it's so far south. It's basically Mexico. And so this is a plant right here that's native to Central America. This is Justicia, right? It's a species. What's the common name for this guy?
This is our Mexican honeysuckle. Okay. And it actually has a few different, apart from just for the butterflies, this is great for hummingbirds. So right now we have a rare hummingbird called the broad-billed hummingbird. And it's hanging out in all of our Mexican honeysuckle. This is what its favorite plant is at this point.
Okay, so you get the broad-billed hummingbird. They come up from, they're just up here for the summer. They come up for the summer from Central America.
So they actually are not even supposed to be in our area. This guy has been a rare straggler. He should be over like in Arizona, New Mexico. Oh. So he's really pushing it, but he's enjoying our honeysuckle.
And you guys are making sure he sticks around by putting out plants that the hummingbirds go nuts for it. All right, they're like crackheads just lurking around here. They get territorial. Have you just noticed one of them, or of this species, or a couple?
So we found, this is one, but we had another one in September, also a female and territorial to that area, chasing away the black hummingbirds.
They could be little bastards. You're selling these. You sell these for $4 and $8, you said? So this would be like a $4 plant. So someone could come here and get a $4 plant, and then what's the bigger ones you got?
The bigger ones are gallon plants, and those are for $8.
Could you imagine what it'd be like if people were planting this in their front yards instead of, you know, the Home Depot garden section? I always shit on the Home Depot garden section. It's easy though. So what's over here? Oh, I know this one. This is the goldenrod, right? That's the solidago, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and so you guys grow this in mass because you get these profuse blooms of tiny yellow flowers, and the butterflies really love those. Now that's like
butterflies and the bees.
It's like butterfly and bee crack basically. And these are long-lived perennials, pretty, and they'll reseed. I mean, you plant one, you might end up with a couple more, you know, in the drainage ditch next year.
That's kind of what's going on here. So we planted a few, the seed spread, and we have so much goldenrod right now. This is going to be great for our butterflies. We had that big freeze in February. These were untouched. Even though they look like they would have, all of these were completely perfect. Just
even the leaves survived.
The leaves survived. Everything.
Jesus, so they're herbaceous perennials. The vegetative parts die. They die back to the root in the winter. But even the leaves survived that freeze.
Even the leaves survived the freeze, and we had this. This was our first plant that bloomed after the freeze.
Oh God, man, these are bangers. They get blamed for allergies a lot too, but they're not allergenic. That's ragweed, ambrosia, which is same family but much different genus. Let's look at the Citharexilum over here. Okay, so this is the Citharexilum. What does this do? What's the common name for it? And what's it like for the pollinators and whatnot?
So this is our Berlandier's fiddlewood. This is our triple threat. Okay, so we always get all of our flower as soon as it starts blooming. You're gonna get all of your flies first. So a bunch of flies will take over it, kind of start nectaring on it. You get your bees, and after all the bees, then come the butterflies. And the butterflies will swarm it. They really like this plant. And then our fiddlewood will give its fruit, and then we'll be ready for all of our birds to take it on. So this plant really serves many purposes in our gardens.
So the birds help disperse this basically. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is a member of the pea family, right? This is what's the common name for it?
This is guamuchil.
Okay, so then the scientific name is Piticilobium dulce. Tell me about this. What does this do?
So in this place, this is our pixie tree. Our guamuchil is going to be the host plant for our red border pixies and a few sulfurs. This is going to be that tree that grows maybe 30-40 feet quickly, gives us these seed pods, and when you open the seed pod, there's like a white creamy, how do I describe it, in your seed, it's an enclosing, but it tastes like vanilla cream. It's
oh my,
really
so
good.
These are edible. These
That's
are
right.
edible. And so these are native to Mexico. They'd basically be native here if we didn't get those intermittent freezes.
Yes.
Okay, now I noticed that, Stephanie, you got this this native Texas cedar elm, which is great, because there's a lot of elms out there. There's, like you get the Siberian elm, which isn't native, it's actually invasive here. But we have these beautiful native elms. But it's hard to imagine the flowers of this one being important for butterflies. So what's going on? What's it do?
So the true purpose of our cedar elms here are that they're a host plant. So our caterpillars for silver emperors, which are those gorgeous blue-white butterflies, are actually going to feed on this plant.
So they need this. This is their host plant. This is what they need. Their caterpillars need, basically.
Yeah, without cedar elms, we don't have any silver emperors.
Basically, I mean, that's the thing a lot of people don't seem to realize if they're not familiar with it already, is that, you're not just providing nectar, you actually got to provide the host plant for some of these species that have co-evolved with these particular plants. These butterfly species that have co-evolved with these particular plants.
That's correct.
Okay, so here's a plant that'll get the stoners in the audience excited because it's in the same family as cannabis. So let's talk about this. What's going on here?
This is our sugar hackberry, Celtis laevigata. And this plant is actually super important here. So we have a native hackberry trail that you get to enjoy when you come into the center. And this tree right here is what's going to bring in our American snouts, our tawny emperors, hackberry emperors. It's really important for our butterflies.
So this is a host plant for a lot of. What are the flowers? What are the flowers like? Are they inconsequential, or what do they do?
The flowers they're going to go in nectar on them. But they're not as important, at least for our pollinators here, as the leaves.
So the leaves are the main thing, and these things basically come up like weeds here.
Everywhere.
I mean, they're just. And how big can some of them get? Because you got 2 or 3 different species down here, right?
Yes. So this one is our sugar hackberry. I would say these trees can get about 80 to 100 feet. I'm probably like short loving them.
80 to 100 feet tall.
And they really are important for our birds, our butterflies. This is where you're gonna go look for your warblers in the spring. They're gonna be munching up there on the leaves. Possums, everybody uses our hackberries.
So these are massively, and the fruits too. The birds are going for the fruits, right? Because when you get like little orange berries on a lot of them.
Yeah, so these are gonna be the red berry, a little darker.
Little red berry, okay.
And this is gonna be, all of our birds are gonna eat them. We had one time a bunch of green parakeets came in, and they just fed on this seed the whole time.
Are the green parakeets native, or where do they come from? They're released as pets, or what?
So our green parakeets are actually a native population that was here, and they're reestablishing themselves after a bit of issues with the pet industry.
So we're far enough south, we're getting native parakeets here.
Correct.
Okay.
And red crown parrots.
Shout out to the RIP, the extinct Carolina parakeet. Here we go. That Xylocopa, that big bumblebee, what's he doing? What's he doing?
He's actually making his home. He's using these little holes. So this one wasn't that big until he got here. There's a few smaller ones, but that's the one that he's been using lately.
So he's just drilling that out. What's he doing there? You know what he's doing? Is he doing anything illicit in there?
I'm not sure, but look at him. He's just really trying to get in there. He wants to make sure that we're out of his way, and he's a little defensive.
Okay, so here's a plant that is related to Chromalina. You can see those long styles. It's in the stevia tribe of Asteraceae. And what was the common name for Chromalina again?
So this one's going to be the Chromalina is Crocita.
Crocita, okay. And this one is, what is this?
We call this our spring mistflower.
Spring mistflower. And Tamaulipa azurea is that common name. Okay, so this is the same thing as Chromalina. It says, pretty aggressive. It forms these big bushes, and they're just covered in the butterflies and whatnot.
That's correct. It doesn't spread as fast as the Crocita does. Crocita, you plant one, you're gonna get so many right away. Spring mistflower is a little less aggressive. It grows tall, 6 feet tall sometimes. And this one's gonna be our spring blooming. So as soon as the Crocita's done blooming, this one takes over for all those migrating spring butterflies.
Same thing. Look, so you got I don't know how many individual flowers per capitulum, which is like that little green vase with the bracts on it, and you got all these tiny flowers on it, and all those hair-looking things poking out are the long styles, which are indicative. They're diagnostic of tribe Eupatoriae, the stevia tribe. Okay, so this plant right here, this is a federally endangered plant, and I could see it spreading. It's in the cotton family Malvaceae. Let's talk about this.
So this is our Eugenia limitaris, or small kidney petal. And this one is actually a plant that we have a contract with U.S. Fish and Wildlife to grow. It's not the easiest plant to grow, but it's really important to get it, to keep it going and not lose it in this area.
All right, so it's Malvaceae, but it's not in the Malvoideae subfamily. It's in the Bitnarioideae subfamily. The flowers are tiny. I'll put an image of them, pop them up on a screen right now. And it's, you know, flowers are tiny, got a really weird morphology for them. And, you know, because I always love getting up in there and seeing every flower is a puzzle. Why did it evolve like that? What's it doing, etc. And so, but this thing is, I mean, I've only seen it in the wild once. It used to be more pronounced until we got the habitat destruction occurring. So do you get plants, do you get butterflies using this as a host plant or a nectar source, or what's going on?
Not quite yet that we've been able to identify, but we are keeping an eye on it. We have butterflies nectaring on it, but no eggs quite yet.
And how do you guys propagate this from seed?
So this is actually we have to scarify the seed, and it's a long process. It takes about maybe 4 days just to get the seeds to, before we put them in the soil.
So how do you guys scarify? You using sandpaper, or what do you use?
This one we're using sulfuric acid.
Sulfuric acid, okay, yeah. Because a lot of the Malvaceae, you got to scarify. I've heard people use sandpaper. Yeah, sulfuric acid. You know, I knew a guy was taking 2 sheets of 60 grit sandpaper and just using like an orbital or something and going to town on them. Okay, so it kind of looks like shit right now. It's just died back a little bit, but when it's, because we haven't had much rain, but when it's going off, I mean, it takes over or what?
Yeah, so this plant will actually take over this area nicely. You'll have a whole Eugenia section, but it does die back in our winter months. So December to February. In March, it starts to show some sign of life, but just right now we're starting to see them green up a little more, and soon we'll have some flower and seed.
So you guys, I mean, I could see, yeah, it's spreading here. Is that from seed, or you think that's clonal, or what?
I'm not sure. I'm going to say it's through the seed.
Through the seed.
But because the seed takes so long and we have to scarify, I'm kind of interested in how this is happening.
Right, yeah. I think, in habitat, a lot of seeds, they're just generally long-lived. We think of like tomato seeds, some don't last that long. It's because we've selected for that, in domesticating crops. But most seeds tend to last for a while. And, the scarification, nature will just naturally scarify them over time as bacteria and microbes are getting at them in the soil seed bank in the duff right there. But this is important you guys are doing this. I mean, so basically you guys are helping to conserve a rare plant. You're providing space for it to grow and habitat for it to grow and making sure it gets pollinated, and also propagating the seeds yourself.
That's right. We have a special area just for the Eugenia.
This is a banger. Too bad it's not going off. I'm gonna have to get some of that seed later. This is the chunky monkey, chamonke, right? It's formerly Gocnadia hypoleuca. Now it's been reclassified as Nahuatlia hypoleuca by the late Vicky Funk, R.I.P. She was a pretty badass human being. So this plant, you got the white abaxial surfaces, the white undersides. Let's find some that look really good. And this is just covered in butterflies, right? I mean, you see this, I've seen this in habitat, growing with peyote and all these other cool, members of the citrus family that grow in a town leaping thorn scrub, and it's just covered in, I mean, I was amazed. There were like 15 different species of butterflies on this thing.
Yeah, this plant is more for our Stark County area. It does a lot better. Here we do have these beautiful plants, these beautiful specimens, and we will get, it'll fill up with butterflies, mostly at the very, very top. And we had actually some rare butterflies just come to it, like our green streaks. We have our members here with binoculars. You can usually see them just looking up into the tree, trying to look for some butterflies.
Yeah, these things, it's such an incredible plant. Maybe you could grow it in San Antonio or a little further north, but I've only ever seen it in habitat down here and in Nuevo Leon in Mexico. There's a species of Gocnadia in Baja California Sur, so it's mostly like a subtropical plant. But you could see, look at the branches. It's a member of the sunflower family, but it's basically a small tree. Look, it sends up multiple branches, and the seeds are really hard to germinate. I actually just sent seeds of this off to somebody at Missouri Botanical Garden to see if they can figure out how to do it. I've heard you can do it by putting them in a Ziploc bag in some in some wet newspaper and leaving it out in the sun. Don't ask me what the hell's going on there. That might just be a, you know, Hidalgo County urban legend, but that's what I did here. But either way, the seeds have some kind of germination inhibitor, so who knows what they are. And you can see there's the seeds right there, just like a little dandelion tuft with an akene on them. See that? Okay, and here we go. Here's a plant it's not a host plant for any of the butterflies, so far as I know, but it's a massive nectar source, and it's in the Senecio tribe of Asteraceae, as you can tell just by looking at those phylaries. Okay, good giveaway. See those bracts that are subtending the phylaries? The bracts have that dark brown on the distal end of them. So this is a pseudogynoxis. It used to be a Senecio, but here it is growing in full sun, just taking over this little trellis for it. And you can, I mean, look at all the flowers on it, you know. It's not even, we're not even getting into the big growing season yet. It's already taken over. Banger of a plant. I guess they put frost cloth over it in the winter, you know, because we do get odd, it'll freeze for like 2 hours in the wee morning hours, 1 or 2 days a year. But you know, it probably doesn't like it, you know. And those same days it's not getting hot, not getting warmer than 60 or 65 degrees here. So I don't know, the weather in the Rio Grande Valley can be odd, but either way, gets a little bit of protection with the frost cloth in the winter. May not even need it, but they just do that so it doesn't have to, you know, die back and start from the bottom again. But look at that thing. That'd be a great plant. You provide shade for the house right here, and then it just gets covered in butterflies. Okay, so what are we looking at down here?
This is our Texas frog fruit. This is my ground cover that I recommend to everybody. If you don't want to have that grass and have to worry about it, just plant some frog fruit. It will take over your lawn and it'll attract butterflies and bees to it. This is a host plant, so on these little leaves, you're also going to have Phaon crescents that are starting to lay their eggs, Texan crescents as well, and a few peacocks, I believe.
Look at this. You have Verbenaceae is the family here. God, I would love to see yards full of this instead of lawns. Ugh. We here at CPBBD hate lawns. I'm trying to eradicate them as much as possible. So Verbenaceae, we're talking opposite leaves right there, and then of course this inflorescence, this whorled inflorescence, a bunch of tiny flowers just whirled around a central axis like that. Look, and then you can see they mature from the bottom up. So the ones up top, those bracts are still closed. They haven't opened yet to let the flowers out. So this is a great plant to have. I mean, this is a host plant, and it's a huge nectar source too.
And you can mow it.
And you can mow it.
Yeah,
you mow it and it comes back.
That's right. You mow it and you actually help it spread a little more, because if it's flowering, it has that seed. You spread the seed when you mow, and you'll have a lot more.
Oh, okay. I see. You chop up the fruits, and then the seeds go everywhere.
That's right.
Okay, so here we got a native member of the grape family. What's this guy?
So this is our possum vine. It's really smelly and stinky, but this is actually a great host plant. We don't just want to feed the butterflies, we're also feeding moths. Yeah,
those leaves, those succulent leaves do kind of stink.
Yeah, they have that smell.
There's the flower, there's the inflorescence about to go off. So this is a species in the genus Cissus in Vitaceae, the grape family. And so what's the moths that you get that it's a host plant for?
So the moth that comes to this is called the beautiful wood nymph. It's a white moth and it has gold on it. When you see the caterpillars, they're blue, red, and black. And they actually have little paddles on them. They're really, really cool caterpillars if you can find them.
Little paddles? What do the paddles do?
The paddles are, as far as I know, they're for them to hold on. But I could be wrong.
Did you guys have to import caterpillars, or how'd you get all of them here?
Not quite. So all of our caterpillars here are butterflies and moths that have come by here, flown, and just wildly laid their eggs. We don't buy any caterpillars, we don't import them, we don't buy butterflies. Everything here is just wild.
You don't need to do it because you're in a biodiversity hotspot.
That's right. We attract everything by planting for them.
So any homeowner could do this too. They plant the right stuff. If you build it, they will come.
That's right. We say if you plant it, they will come.
Who's this crackhead running around here? Who is it? What is it?
That's our plain chachalaca. That's our loud friend. When I was little, my mom called me a chachalaca. They're loud. They're ground-dwelling birds. They do really well, and they're native here. And they'll love those fiddlewoods that we were talking about as well.
So what are they doing? Are they ever causing trouble or anything? What do they do here?
They just come in to eat.
Okay.
They come in to eat. They do help me in the nursery. So they'll usually eat some of our sugar hackberries. then the fiddlewood, and help me propagate them.
So they're just lurking around. What about these turkeys? You guys didn't bring those here, right? They just showed up or what?
No, we didn't bring them in. All these turkeys are from the area. This is our first year that we have adult males. Usually we've only had the hens, and they are very territorial because they're competing with each other at the moment.
Hey, look, you got green jays back there too. What are they doing? Huh? The green jays don't go too far north of here, huh? They're mostly a South Texas specialty or what?
South Texas specialty. The furthest they're going right now is San Antonio.
Have you checked the criminal records of any of these guys in here, the chachalacas especially, I'm concerned about?
Everybody has been cleared.
I see what you're doing. I got my eye on you, okay? I'm part of a Facebook group, and we monitor people like you, okay? You're not getting away with anything, okay? Don't even try it, okay? All right, we're all very well connected. Okay, we stay in touch via Facebook Messenger, and we play into the conflict algorithm. We got an eye on you. We know what's going on. We know what you're really doing here. Stay back. Hey, stay back. Stay back. What are you doing? Huh? You ever heard of Pizzagate before? Okay, so this plant is mega important for pollinators too, right? It's another member of the pea family. What's going on here?
So this is our guajillo. This is one of the first plants I learned upon coming here because I was quite a tree hugger, and as soon as you hug these branches, there are thorns on them that will get you. Our guajillos are actually some of the best honey that you can find. We have customers that come and they're just looking for this plant. A lot of bees you're gonna see around them. They're small bees, and our butterflies really like this. Some of our plants here is actually going into fruit. I'm not sure if you can see it up high. I lost
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. That's how you know it's a pea. Look at that legume. Look at that legume fruit. So you get people showing up just wanting to purchase this plant. How much you guys sell this plant for?
We sell our trees for, depending on the size. If it's a gallon, it's $8, and if it's bigger, for 3 gallons, it's a $15 plant.
So $8, you could own one of these, plant it in your yard. How fast does it grow? They grow kind of fast on here with the heat or what?
It grows really fast. So in a year, you're easily gonna have like about a 4-foot plant tree, and they smell delicious.
I could smell it from 20 feet away. Holy hell. Another mimosoid pea, the mimosoid subfamily. Just another little globose umbel of dozens of tiny little flowers. Those are basically all the stamens we're looking at right there, the little pom-pom. Just the filaments topped by a yellow anther. So this thing just ends up covered in bees and butterflies too.
Yeah, bees, butterflies, and it's great for the birds to forage in. So you do also get a lot of air. This is a big area for our little birds to be in.
Okay, and this used to be an acacia, but then, when they found out acacia was polyphyletic, basically all the members of acacia weren't necessarily related to each other that closely, they lumped it into Senegalia. Okay, so here we go, Erythrostemen mexicanus, a member of the Sasalpinoid subfamily of the pea family. What's going on with this? Is this thing a good pollinator plant or what?
Definitely. So we would probably be right now chased around by bees, by carpenter bees. They really like it. This is actually also a host plant. So thanks to this plant right here, we have now been able to attract to our property the curved-winged meadowlark. It uses this as its host plant, and up to last week, we found some laying eggs on it.
So this is the host plant for that particular species of butterfly.
That's right.
So you'll see, have you seen caterpillars on it yet or what?
Not yet.
Just
I'm looking
eggs
on them, but we've seen them laying eggs. We've had more butterflies of that species than we had in the past, so we know that it's doing its job.
Look at that thing. Did this die back in the freeze at all?
No, not at all.
It was unscathed. It did fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that thing. God, the Sasalpinoids are cool. 10 stamens. You got an ovary in the center there. Can you see the style? Can you find? Yeah, there's the style. See, it's the little filament without an anther on top of it, and then that matures, of course, into that little legume, that little pea pod. Look at that nice native salvia right there. Salvia below the flora. Look at that upper labium. Just a little cuculate hood with the hairs on it, and the leaves, of course, opposite leaves. Smells incredible. So what's going on, Stephanie? What's going on here? This plant probably gets a lot of guys stopping by to check it out, huh?
We get a lot of butterflies on it, and it's actually on our list for the top 5 for bees, native bees in the area. So we want to make sure we're feeding the native bees, not just our honey bees that everybody focuses on. This is also in Spanish called mejorana. and it's actually used for some cooking. My mom really likes it.
Right, that makes sense. It's the same family as oregano, thyme, rosemary, etc. So
That's right.
So how big did they get? This is about average size for them, or what?
Yes, it could probably get maybe another foot or so. This is in the shade.
Mm-hmm.
So you're seeing a different growth, also broader leaves than you would if you're in a sunny area with less water.
So they do better in sun. This could take full sun.
Yes, definitely.
God, and the leaves smell incredible. Oh, you got it, that underside. Yeah, basically it just kind of feels like lavender leaves, the same texture. Okay, so this sparse flower bastard, which has pretty incredible flowers on it, it's a member of the pea family, Quercetia axillaris. So what is the what's going on here? You guys plant this, you get a lot of butterflies coming through on there, or what?
Yes, so this is actually one of our first blooming in the winter. This is kind of like what tells you spring is coming. These are Texas baby bonnets. It attracts a lot of different butterflies, mostly our blues. You do get a lot of skippers in here, a lot of bees, and look at those cute little flowers. They look like little hats.
Yeah, you got the nice banner wings and keel. Nice variation on a banner wings and keel. You got a fuzzy calyx down there too. Okay, there we go. I had to cut that keel open to reveal those that ovary and those 10 stamens. But there you go. Oh, look at you got that nice green striations on that banner petal, that posterior petal, right there. You had to cut the keel open, pull the wings aside, and there you go. That's what's. No one ever does that with the peas. Got to get up there and really see what's going on. So this thing needs to be planted much. You see this much in cultivation here, or not really? It's pretty kind of rare. Do you see it in habitat here very much, or no?
We're starting to, but it might be that our seed's spreading. We are adding a little bit more to our areas, but I think it definitely needs to be in more homes. It attracts a lot of butterflies. It looks beautiful, and it's not gonna be an eyesore.
No, this is a banger plant. I would love to see this in cultivation more. God damn. How do you germinate the seeds? Do you guys grow and sell a lot of these, or what?
Yeah, we do grow a lot of these. These are easy to plant. You really just need to collect the seed, clean it up, let it dry a few days, and just plant it.
You don't have to scarify it or anything
Not
either,
this one, and it has a very high germination rate.
God damn. So how big do those pea pods get when they're mature? They stay about that size or get twice as big, or what?
No, that's about the size that you're gonna get them. They turn brown. You just have to be keeping an eye on them, because right away there's a little caterpillar that will go in there, and you might lose all your seed if the caterpillar gets in there first.
Got Verbenaceae, the Verbena family of the order Lamiales, the order of sages, is such a goddamn incredible family. Especially in Texas, you get a lot of really cool species in it. This one is one of them. Aloysia gratissima. Smells incredible. Look at that. Fuzzy calyces. Actually, are those the calyces? No, those are just yeah, you got some fuzz on the calyces. Those are the calyces. Fuzzy calyces, and then white flowers. Okay? All those petals fused into a little funnel, a little tube. Thing smells amazing. I could smell it from here, and it just ends up covered in butterflies and pollinators. Why don't you put it in your yard? See, if you're looking for ideas of stuff to plant and you live in Central Texas or South Texas or anywhere that's got a similar climate, i.e. hot as hell and somewhat humid, this is a great spot to come to. All right, you get all your ideas here. Hell, you can even pick up plants here. They got a nursery in the back. They're selling plants, cheap as hell. Okay, if they don't got it, you don't need it. So we'll film the end right here, right in front of leucophyllum frutescens. So you guys are closed because of the nut job activity in the area. You're closed except unless someone becomes a member, right?
That's right. You can become a member by going online, going on our webpage, and clicking on that Become a Member. We have a program, a reciprocal admission program with a horticultural society. So if you buy membership with us, you actually have access to different areas, different places to visit around the United States.
Different botanic gardens.
That's
and stuff.
right.
And they got a list. I mean, can they go online and find out what the list is, where else they got
yes.
admissions? Great. And how much is it to become a member?
So we have different levels, but individual, you can become a member for as little as $35 for the whole year.
All right, Stephanie, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
I learned a lot.
Look at it. They got the ratabita right up here too. One of the 9,000 species of Onathra that grow in the region. So anyway, all right, so this is what you got to tell your grandparents, okay? Get them in here, all right? De-radicalize America's seniors. Get them back into birding and hanging out with plants and with the shit, you know? I mean, look at this. We got this whole other section of the garden we didn't explore. So they could come here, you know, they can go watch Tucker Carlson, the Talking Walnut, get them all worked up, or you can get them into bird watching and hanging out with flowers, you know, which I do. It's made me feel much less better and less likely to commit homicide. Look at this massive bastard. What are you doing? What are you doing? You munching on it? Yeah, he's taking it apart. So anyway, great spot. All right, get a membership. You get a membership here. You could use it at any goddamn botanic garden that participates in that program in the area. So we got to get more people down here, you know. As you say, a lot of good can come from this. Chill people out. You know, we live in a really turned up time. Everybody's nuts, okay? On both sides, everyone's fucking nuts. You just get them to calm down, get them into planting native gardens, get them into hanging out with the chachalakas, all right? The little crackheads, they're fun to watch. And just get them to turn it down a few notches. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm hoping it stays overcast, because if that sun comes out, it's going to be upwards of 95 degrees on my ass and humid as hell. So I'm going to dip out, and I guess we'll talk to you later right there. All right, everybody have a good rest of your day. Go fuck yourself. Bye. Look at you all, you all are nasty. You guys are like some new age church or something. Look at it. Got a question. Huh? Why do lizards always remind me of crackheads? Huh? You're so lurky, you twitch, you move so fast. You never let anybody get a good look at you. You get spooked too easily. What's going on? Just answer that question for me. Are you here to palate this guy? Palate this? What the shit you doing? You just hanging out, huh? Crackhead.